Today, I want to share with you what I have learned about how to get into deep focus more consistently rather than only being able to focus when the mood strikes you. And I also have a free resource to share with you at the end that will help you improve your ability to focus even when stressed out, overwhelmed, or frustrated. So be sure to stick around and find out what it is. Your ability to focus can have a lot of ups and downs. Some days you feel like you're on fire, and others you can't seem to focus for anything. A famous example of this is the author George R.R. Martin. He's the author of the fantasy series A Song of Ice and Fire, probably more commonly known as Game of Thrones from the HBO TV series. George has been working on his most recent book for 14 years now, and he does not seem to be able to finish it. In an interview with Stephen King, he asks him how he manages to write so many books, and Stephen details how he sets a goal to write around 6 pages of his manuscript per day and to get it relatively clean. He's able to achieve that in 3 to 4 hours of writing every day pretty consistently. George describes how when he sits down to write, some days are great, and many other days he will write a sentence, he'll end up hating it, and then he'll go and check his email and end up wondering if he has any writing talent at all. Stephen sympathizes with him and the enormous pressure he must feel writing this book. The first books in the series have been enormously successful, and the spin-off shows even more so. Looking at their 2 examples, you can learn 3 things about how you can get focused more consistently. The first thing you can do is to set clear micro goals or tasks and commit to them. Make it really obvious to your brain where you are trying to get during your current focus session. Stephen King had a clear micro goal of 6 pages per day. George R.R. Martin's goal was not defined, so by default his brain just assumes he's trying to write the whole book. Which one of those do you think feels more overwhelming? 6 pages or the entire rest of the book? Having a clear point where you're trying to get to during your focus session helps your brain not get so overwhelmed and commit to reaching that small goal. Second is to establish a focus routine. If you establish a focus routine and you stick to it long enough, something magical happens. Your sage brain and your monkey brain stop fighting, and your sage brain turns your focus over to your robot brain so that it just happens automatically. I have established a focus routine where I hide my phone and smartwatch, I take a drink of water, and I put on my headphones and start my focus playlist. Doing those 4 things gets my brain into focus mode, and I can just go from there. Although the music does eventually get turned off if I really need to think through something difficult. So start establishing a simple focus routine today. It should be a set of steps that you can go through that will trigger your brain to get into focus. And it should use several different senses to create more and stronger neural connections. And third, manage your emotions better. And I don't mean to suck it up and stop being emotional. I actually mean exactly the opposite of that. Be more in touch with your emotions. Don't ignore them. Instead, recognize them and understand them, and then work with them to reframe them into more positive emotions. Listening to Mr. Martin describe what he goes through when he gets distracted, you can see how he gets overwhelmed with pressure and negative emotions in relation to his writing. And the only thing he can do to cope with them is to get distracted in order to try and deal with it. Everybody struggles with negative emotions, even multimillionaire successful authors. Everyone struggles with them when they're trying to focus because all of our focus problems are emotional problems. I've created a free 7-module course on how to deal with negative emotions and reframe them into positive ones so that you can have greater control over your ability to focus on what matters to you. I will leave a link to the course in the description where you can get free access. If you found this content helpful, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can learn more. I post daily about focus, procrastination, and emotional mastery.